Now, we have found out in the last couple of days since we actually sent your stuff is that multiple members have actually broken their NDAs.
One of the most difficult issues that we faced early on was the breaking of the NDAs. And the reason it was such a big issue wasn't just because they were broken, but it was kind of broken in mass. And so it was like, how do you deal with that when multiple people broke them? And obviously these are people that you want for the show. How do we use that as both a teachable moment for the ones that weren't as bad, and then for some of them we had to make decisions of whether or not we kept the members on the show. When the girls first came in for auditions, they signed both a waiver and then an NDA. They weren't able to post anything related to the show or the space that they were in, and then also that they weren't even allowed to share a lot of the information from the show with their families outside of like logistical information of where they had to be and when. Early on, before the training camp, that there was a bunch of girls that had created basically different chats. The issue with that was, one, they weren't even supposed to be discussing like who the candidates were. They weren't even supposed to be telling each other like about the golden feather or the results. A lot of the girls had created chats then, like the golden feather winners for some of the days had created chats and were talking to one another. And because this was kind of off and it brought in contestants from different days, it did already, raise concerns about what was happening with that data, especially when that got back to the label.
First and foremost is everything that happens here doesn't get discussed with even the other people that are here outside of management. People here that actually spoke with people even from other labels about the process and about the show. You should know that breaking the NDA is a big deal and that we will take actions. And moving forward, if we find that anybody has broken the NDA, they will be sent home immediately.
While there were multiple cases of the NDAs being broken, there were a couple of members that actually went outside and were talking to people from other labels. And the most concerning one to us became Ella. It was super disappointing because Ella had a lot of talent early on. In this particular instance, there was a representative from one of the other labels that Ella had been in contact with. It really makes me struggle, but we also have to sometimes let people know how serious of a nature this is. So then we run into the issue where one of the girls after the first day who showed a lot of promise, obviously all the girls that were there showed a lot of promise, but one that we knew was going to be a fan favorite was Gazelle. She had originally asked multiple times, could she go home at night during the filming of the show? And we had told her, the staff had told her multiple times, no, like the purpose of this training wasn't just about them coming in and them going through, dance training and vocal training and the lessons and the guides. It was about living with one another and what that was going to be like. We wanted to see the group dynamics. We wanted to see, as we switched them around from room to room, of how they were going to react living with a bunch of other girls. Ultimately, with Gazelle, that was the case here, was that no matter how much talent there is there and how great a personality we felt that she had for the group, that everybody had to follow just the same standard and the same set of rules. And that was a thing that she couldn't do in this particular competition. And so we had to make the decision to let her go home then and then stay home.
Bye-bye guys, this will be my last day in here, so I'm very thankful. And guys, support the upcoming girl group Phoenix. If I choose to stay, anong gagamitin ko? Wala akong gamit. I have no things na dinala. So, yeah. Guys, I love you all! I love you all, guys! Bahay pa naman.
With the stamina workout, I didn't do that much since I had to check first and adjust to what the girls can do with their stamina. So I gave them the very basics for the stamina workout.
Fast, 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 and slow, slow.
Some of them I knew from the very beginning that are not very well trained in dance. So I think that's why I tried not to give them the whole stamina workout just yet, because I don't want injuries to happen and I don't want anyone being super hurt and not being able to dance with us the whole day anymore. A lot of them weren't able to catch up, but I see a lot of them trying to do their best and like pushing it too hard just to be able to cope up with the rest of the girls. With that, like, I really appreciate the girls trying their best to, get by, especially the stamina workout.
I had like a mental breakdown. I was really frustrated.
So this choreography is different from the first one. Some parts are really, really fast. But don't worry, I'll give you enough time later. So I'll teach the first half and then after that I'll give you enough time to absorb it before I move on. So 1 with kick, 1, and punch left, 2. One more. 5, 6, 7, and swing, punch, punch. One more. 1 and 2. Ready? 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2. One more. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2. One more. So, boom, ha, ha. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2. One more. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2. Faster. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2. Faster. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2. Tighter arms. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2. From the morning till very late at night, like 6 p.m. and then they have their own time to train also for the choreographies. So the breaks in between are very important. It's just that some of the girls are really pushing it too hard and not taking the break. That's why we keep on telling them to take a break and just drink water, lots of water for the day. Even if they don't want to eat, they have to drink water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8.
Basta nag-enjoy ako. And even nahihirapan, that's part naman. Pero yun, I'm happy, so happy. Minsan nasasabi ko na ayoko na, ganun. Pero ano lang siya, like, alam mo yun, yung parang nature natin noon nung biglang magsabi ng ganun. Pero, oo naman, go, go, go pa rin.
They improved a lot, to be general. No, they improved a lot. It's just that it depends on the trainee. Some trainees are a bit a bit pushy within themselves. That's why others aren't able to breathe after every set.
Nakaka-rattle talaga kapag nagkamali ka kasi isipin mo na yan kahit meron pang sunod na call. Pero yun yung nakakabilib kasi sinabi niya. Great job.
Our boot camp was really made to push these trainees to their limits. We knew that most of the girls coming in had never been part of something like this before and how intense it was going to be. And we also knew that a lot of them wouldn't be able to honestly make all of the training, that there were going to be times where they were going to have to sit out due to how tired they were. We figured that there were probably going to be some injuries because people aren't using muscles like that in their body or aren't used to it. And we really wanted to make sure, though, that we focused on the candidates that could push through that. Like, are you tired and are you just willing to give up?
Kaya po ako napagod talaga guys. Hindi po talaga ako nag-exercise. Wala na lang po ako. Tapos, nung push up po talaga, sabi ko, nung pinag-burpee po kami. Ala, yung kamay ko nanginginig na. Tapos yun, pero know your limits.
While the training was going on and while people were learning new dances, we were pulling people out randomly to do their evaluations. Depending on the luck of the draw, some people were able to come into the evaluations right and early at the beginning of the day and were able to do them before they were super tired. And some people came in to do the evaluations at the end of the day after they had already been dancing for 6-8 hours, and that's when they're doing their evaluations. They came in and they're out of breath and, you know, maybe their performance suffered a little bit because they're out of breath, we didn't count that against them because we knew that they were out of breath. What we did was we wanted to see how they would deal with being out of breath.
Just like this, 느낌은 on your lips. Rough like this, baby. Just like this, 느낌은 on your.
I was doing my dance and then parang my body wasn't matching kung ano po yung nasa isip ko dahil po pagod nga po. Because of that, I was like really shaky. I was off balance po. And then some of my steps were just ad-libs because I forgot. Tapos after that, I had like a mental breakdown because I was kind of disappointed with myself.
During her evaluations, there was a moment where you could tell that something was wrong. It seemed like she was kind of feeling lightheaded or that maybe she was having like a panic attack, and we had to stop her and sit her down because one of the biggest things that you don't want to see happen is somebody to faint or pass out and like fall over. And so we make sure that we put the safety first and prioritize that.
While doing it po, nararamdaman ko na po yung kamay kong gumaganon. Alam ko na po na, papunta na, papanik na ako, ganun.
It didn't matter, like they would sit down, they'd reset, they'd gather themselves, and then they wouldn't give up and they would come right back and they would get right back into it.
Pero okay naman. Na-push naman po.
That's that kind of grit and determination and drive where like, don't let something like that deter you. Like these things are going to happen, whether you're playing sports or music, anytime that you're training for long periods of time, you may feel faint. You may be putting your body through a lot of stress. You may be dehydrated. And those are things that you just have to take on and figure out a solution to get through them and then continue.
Don't let the performance end without doing something like better, like kailangan mo bumawi. And wag mo hayaan matapos yung music or matapos yung pyesa na hindi ka bumabawi.
During the evaluation round, there were some trainees that just blew us away because they took the feedback that we had given them in the previous round, and you could tell who spent tons and tons and tons of hours. But there were also candidates that showed so much promise in the initial audition phases, and it felt like they were stagnant. It felt like they were in the same place. It wasn't that they were bad, it just was that there was no real improvement from the previous round when they had had time comparatively to some of the other members.
Try to make it more feminine pa. Nagsasayaw ka for yourself lang. Hindi mo pinapa-feel sa akin yung sayaw mo.
We just cut the music quick. You guys are feeling dizzy, lightheaded, anything like that, do not push through and think that you're going to be taken out because of that. Like, we are not grading you based on that. We know that the vast majority of you have never done this before.
Yes.
Okay? So, sit before you fall. So, if any of you need to take rest, it's okay. Take a rest, catch your breath, jump back in when you can.
I'm not doing what I know what I'm supposed to do. So it's really a mix of emotions. I was overthinking, then I felt accomplished, and then new choreo, so baby steps again, but we'll get there.
In between the learning part, I was already feeling my body being numb, and I still tried to push for it. So kahit nagna-numb na yung katawan ko, like when I was sitting back there, tapos pinapanood ko sila, gumagalaw pa din yung kamay ko, kahit yung feet ko hindi ko na maangat or like magalaw. I'm still trying to memorize it. Tapos adding on it, yung frustration ko pa, like yung mental state ko that time. I was really frustrated kasi my mind knows what to do or how to execute it. Like, I know all the textures na I have to add. Tapos nakita ko na rin yung sarili ko in the mirror. Tapos yun pala, hindi ko siya ma-perform dahil hindi pa yung katawan ko, hindi pa sanay sa ganung klaseng condition.
Around the second or third day of the training, a lot of the candidates had already started feeling exhausted and drained, and whether it was from dehydration or just pushing their bodies beyond their limit, those symptoms of dizziness and exhaustion really started to set in with them.
I expect, of course, I still expect them to be like improving. I just want to see them improve day by day, because we can't promise anything, and you know, some like their wellness, we can't promise that they're always well. Some might have some might become sick or whatever, but what I can expect is that they improve every day.
A lot of them are really already good in dance, but for me it's Minea and siya. Like it's super wild. Siya before the first day, she doesn't know what's left. She doesn't know what's right. I mean, it's not. Yeah, literally, she doesn't know what's left, what's right. So if I do the steps on the right side, she does it on the left side. So I was like, what are you doing? How can I train you? And all of a sudden, the next coming days, you're able to do it right. So yeah, I commend her to that. Also Minea, I mean, Minea's the wildest. Like she doesn't even have a single background or a little background of dance. And I was really wondering if she can make it. I mean, like, she's not dancing at all.
Parang nonsense pa yung ginagawa ko. Wala akong natuturong tama. Parang ganon. Think about why you're here. Always think about why you're here. Why am I here? Do I want to do this? And if you want to do it, just do it. Okay, without hesitations, just do it. If you think you're not good enough, then why are you here? Somehow you believe in yourself too, kaya ka nandito.
When during the evaluations, she really did well. As in with her performance, her character, everything, she's someone else. Like, she became somebody else.
I think for some of the trainees, even though we told them very early on that this isn't a competition against one another, and this is not one of the things where, like, if you can't get the dance right away, that you're out. We reminded them we're not necessarily looking for the people that are the best right now. We are looking for the people that will fit best in the group after training.
Maraming test of endurance also, hindi lang talent, pakikisama, and also being able to go through the challenges, yung sakit ng katawan. And it's really no joke singing and dancing at the same time, be in tune, at maganda pa rin yung itsura kasi nga magiging idol ka. But the training is really valuable. Yun ang ganung very important kasi hindi lahat nakakaroon ng opportunity na ganito sa Pilipinas. It is expensive, but this is a very good venue for development. Kaya kunin nyo to, knowing full well na hindi masasayang yung time nyo.
How can it be you and me? Might be meant to be, can't unsee it. But I don't wanna cause no scene. I'm usually so unproblematic, so independent. Tell me why? Cause the boy is mine. Something about him is made for somebody like me. Baby, come over, come over.
Ito pa lang yung moment na to na, nagkaroon ako ng opportunity na hindi ko na makukuha sa ibang lugar. Feeling ko ang layo na narating ko, yung malayo pa pero malayo na. I started already. And like, ayun, I feel happy na I am trying to fulfill my dreams.
I can dance really well. I know that. But I know and I can sing as well and rap as well. I did have a few trainings then when I was a kid, and I've always just loved singing and dancing since I was little. So, parang ito yung superpower ko, yung dancing. But at the same time, skills-wise, I can sing and rap as well. So I'm very excited to learn tomorrow. I'm excited to parang intake new knowledge and new technique.
Try to make it more feminine pa. Nakukulangan lang din ako sa performance, like yung sa facial expression. Kasi parang binibitin mo ko. Parang meron ka pa ilalabas sa facial expression mo eh. Laruin mo pa siya. Practice it more. Laruin mo lang. Like, kasi lagi ka lang nakasmirk eh. Lagi lang nakaganon. Nagsasayaw ka for yourself lang. Hindi mo pinapa-feel sa akin yung sayaw mo. So it's important kasi kunyari, yan nga, P-pop group kayo, P-pop idol kayo, kailangan mo kung i-engage sa'yo. Kasi I feel like, kanina nung nagsasayaw ka, I feel like you're feeling awkward talaga. So, wag kang mag-settle lang na memorize mo lang siya. Because you do, memorize mo siya eh. Alam mo yung ginagawa mo. Kaso, kailangan mong alamin kung paano siya dapat gawin.
One of the biggest things that we were looking for was, will these be the right team members? Do they have the right attitude? Do they have the ability to adapt? Did they take our feedback and perform that feedback? Are they taking the direction of the judges well now and the coaches when they're pushing them? That was really what the first 3 days were to do, was to kind of put them to the test and see who would fit well within that dynamic. I think one of the most impressive things for me, and what actually went into a lot of their scoring, was seeing who took the feedback seriously. Were there people that just took the feedback and then chalked it up to, well, that's not for me, or that it didn't really matter? Or were there people who took it really, really seriously and worked on those? And there was a couple of candidates in particular that actually, like, when we said, hey, you can do this right now, but we're really worried that maybe you can't pull off this type of style, or we will really want to see this. They challenge themselves to the opposite end of the spectrum to really show their versatility and what they could bring together and to the table as, you know, a P-pop idol. And that was really cool to see, was the transformation that some of these girls had gone through in just such a short period of time. We always knew that we were going to be whittling it down from 24 candidates to 12 candidates. What we didn't know was what the final number of trainees was going to look like. That we did not have a set number for. But for round 2 and for the team building, we wanted to whittle it down to 12. And I don't think that we had anticipated how hard that was going to be, because there were so many candidates that could have done very well within the group dynamic. And so we actually had more candidates than what I thought. I think in the long run, you know, if this ever turns into an academy or something like that, that we really hope to one day, I would have taken them all and made them trainees to see what they could all do with more training. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with this type of time frame, we have to make the tough decisions early on and just hope that we made the right ones.
Alam ko po kasi kung saan ako nagkulang.
It's hard because this is my dream.